And if syncretic practice is to flourish, there is new knowledge to be identified and a transdisciplinary discourse to be developed. Usurping the Western paradigm, and which we have cowered for so long, education will no longer privilege object over subject, system over process, form over behavior, or reason over intuition, or matter over mind. Instead, the matrix of, in my view, second-order cybernetics and first-person technoetics will inform this learning environment we're looking at. So there is a paradigm shift. We're very aware of that. All cultural tendencies, tastes, and persuasions are being realigned, interconnected, and hybridized by this vast global community of online users. And of course, WikiLeaks has added substantially to that, that sort of effect. They are transdisciplinary in their approach to knowledge and experience. These users, us, instinctively interactive now with systems and situations. We are playful, we are transgressive, and we are enormously curious. And so this living culture that we have makes it up as it goes along. No longer do the institutions of state, church, or science call the tune, though recent questions in Italian politics, I know, suggest that the tune can be called quite irreverently and get away with it. But anyway, I should not make too much comment about that. But this is very much a culture of inclusion and self-creation. So culture no longer defines us with its rules of aesthetics, style, etiquette, normalcy, or privilege. It no longer defines us. We define it. We of the global community that map out the world not with territorial boundaries or built environments, but with open-ended networks. This is a bottom-up culture, non-linear, bifurcating, immersive, and profoundly human. Well, let's look at what education is for. It's for young people becoming old people and old people becoming young people. And those young people we call post-digital natives. And these post-digital natives at the moment are being taught by digital immigrants, people for whom the digital world is something new. I mean, I'm talking about largely secondary education, of course, but of course it also applies in universities throughout the world, that the teachers really are learning from the students, and the students have no teachers really to turn to. So what we have to do is not simply rethink what teaching is about, or even rethink what research is about, but we have to look at the organisms of inquiry within which new knowledge fields can grow. We have to develop transdisciplinary discourse, and we have to enable syncretic practice. And so, as I've said earlier, what we have to prioritize in these institutions is subject before object, process before system, behavior before form, intuition before reason, and mind before matter. You look at this chart, I'm not going to go through it, it's probably familiar to you, it's been published quite widely. But the ways in which now multitasking, moving between media, moving between places, moving between mindsets and behaviors is common practice to young people. But it's not common practice to those who teach them. And we have to sort of resolve that apart from anything else. So it's an era of transformation. We're in a kind of cultural phase space. I want to talk briefly about the variable reality. We used to have VR, if you remember, virtual reality, and I talked some time ago about the 3 VRs, virtual reality, validated reality, Newtonian reality, and what I called vegetal reality, simply trying to bring the pharmaceutical aspect of mind development back to its sources in ancient cultures where plants and so forth were concerned with transformation of mind. So we had these separate boxes that we would, this was only, what, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. We would be in the real, we'd be in the virtual, we'd be in the spiritual, and each of these served separate ontologies. But now these are merging syncretically. We live in a variable reality, and we flow through it seamlessly, and it's accelerated our flow by on the one hand, somatic processes, yoga, drugs, and so forth, and new technologies of communication, computing, and brain chemistry. And brain chemistry is really important here.